how do you tell what's fake news?
Yeah.
Cool. Haven't done this one yet.
Okay, perfect.
Sweet.
All right, 5 minutes.
Yeah. Can I get your first name?
Luka.
Luka, L-U-K-A.
K-A. Yeah.
Gotcha. My name is Reed.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Cool. So you're about to go on a hike or just finished with one?
Halfway through, done one.
Oh, halfway through.
Yeah.
You started at the top, I guess?
I get started at the top, yeah. Worked our way down, work our way back up.
Gotcha, cool. So, cool. You picked how do you tell what's fake news?
Yeah.
That's kind of a how do you tell?
That's.
What do you think? Yeah, what
Are
do
we
you feel?
recording?
Yeah.
How do I tell? Yeah, let's do it. How do I tell fake news? Mainstream media, basically CNN, NBC, Fox, MSNBC, all that is the same bullshit. You know, same swamp.
Equally bullshit?
Equally all bullshit. I mean, all those news are fake. They're all corporate-run media designed to, keep people misinformed, misguided, kind of control the masses. Keep people like sheep,
They're designed to keep people misinformed?
Of course. They're not going to give you the full. They all have obviously overlying bias, and they're going to perpetuate whatever. They have interests behind them. When you look at these multimedia corporations such as CNN and stuff, perfect example, right? Who's funding them? Who runs them? Who owns them? What's their political agenda? And they're always going to inform people based on that political agenda. They're not going to give you unbiased or truthful things. And I mean, I don't think I've ever seen in my entire lifetime such a one-sided news organization or news, call it all, not just CNN, MSNBC, NBC, all of them, when President Donald Trump got in office. Before, it's like, oh, CNN's a little left, Fox is a little right. But now it's not even about reporting. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've got so many times with fake stories and they retract it, is that they are just blatantly against the president of the United States, which is just like, come on, you're a news organization. Like, you had the fake Russia dossier, you had stories that were never, like, they'll just run with a rumor and call it news. And there's before in journalism, there was certain procedures before you reported on something. And you look at CNN when Roger Stone was taken in by the FBI. How was CNN tipped off? Why was CNN there? That's actually illegal. You can't be there when there's a FBI raid going on. So, again, a lot of terrible stuff happening.
So what I'm hearing you say is, since Trump was elected,
they've always been fake news. They've always been fake news.
But now it's very clear.
It's very one-sided. Before, they push it to a new extreme. Mm-hmm. Before, and I can tell you from personal experiences, fake news, stuff like CNN did back in 99, 2000, 92, 94. I'm Serbian, so they were covering the civil war going on in Yugoslavia at the time. Mm-hmm. And what they were reporting was completely opposite what was going on in the ground. So you have people like Hillary Clinton back saying, oh, it was under sniper fire in Bosnia. And then video comes out, there was no sniper fire. It was like a bright sunny day. There was nothing like that. So.
Is it possible for all of these mainstream media sources, like the top 10 mainstream ones, to report something that is actually the case and true?
Is it possible for them to be truthful? I would say things that are non-political.
Non-political things.
Non-political things, like how many calories in something, or a new restaurant that's hitting off, for sports media or stuff not to do with politics, but anything political, they're gonna have a message and they're gonna have
So anything that has to do with politics.
You can suspect. Look at they're killing babies in the incubators. Iraq war, we gotta go. Weapons of mass destruction. Oh my God, Saddam Hussein. Boom. Mm-hmm. $3 trillion spent, countless lives lost, nothing found. Right? It's just many of the examples. Okay. The same thing in Vietnam. The same thing in Chile. It's all the same.
So when something political happens and these mainstream sources are covering it, depending on how they lean politically, they're reporting them differently?
Yeah, and most of the news organizations, the mainstream ones, are are leftist organizations, right? I mean, Fox, I don't even call that a right. It's like a quasi-right, but it's also owned 20% by the Saudi Royal Fund, and it's, again, it's not real news either. So.
Okay, so how do we tell what's fake news?
How do you tell what's fake news? So don't go to mainstream media. Go to people like Drudge Report. You can go Daily Caller. You can go. There's a lot of people that are unbiasedly First of all,
is mainstream news covering politics necessarily fake news?
Mainstream news covering politics, yeah, usually you're not going to get the whole story. You're not going to get the right thing.
Usually,
Almost all the time, I think, in my opinion.
almost all the time.
Yeah, because you want to go to independent sources that have no monetary gain from something that they're pushing. They have no political agenda. They're just telling you what has happened. They're giving you the full document. You see a lot of the times is they'll dox like mainstream media. Like I give a perfect example of people. If you want to see what President Trump said or any video, you go to the full video, the full speech, and you watch the 40-minute video, or you watch the 10-minute video where he's talking about that, so you know the full context. You don't watch the doctor in 30-second clip that's been spliced many times, and they can make anyone. And that doesn't just happen in politics. That happens to anything. If you're gonna re-edit a video or a photo, you can make someone sound worse or better than they actually are, right? So I always tell people, if you want to make an opinion about something, go to the direct source. Instead of having CNN tell you what Trump said, why don't you go to the video, find the full speech, listen to what he said, listen to the context of the conversation, and then make up your own mind. Instead of being like, oh, he's evil, he said this. I'm going to take a 30-second clip from a 45-minute speech. Come on, that's it's not being honest with yourself.
So you're saying to avoid fake news, we need to get the full context and go to independent sources that have no monetary gain.
Correct.
No bias there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other ways to tell?
Any other ways? Opinionated? I mean, like, now so much of the news is completely opinionated stuff, right? Like, he's bad, he's this, like the way things are written too, right?
If it's not just the facts, if they're adding their opinion in.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of op-ed pieces that are taken as news now too. I think people need to just really, news used to be cut bland and dry. Like, people want like insert their opinions on what something's going on, right? And now you see these labels thrown out all the time: racist, homophobic, xenophobic. Like, now people just label people things without actually any evidence or actually speaking to the person. So it also creates a huge problem of people don't have conversations anymore in this country.
Yeah, you heard about the Covington Catholic kids?
Of course. So what happened? That's a perfect example of how mainstream media blows a proportion, what I call fake news. So mainstream media, these Catholic kids came up to a retired Army guy who served in the Vietnam War, a Native American man. They were racist. They were this, and a video comes out a day later. Like, no, he approached them. They were just sitting there, like, and
yeah, like the top three claims are they harassed a Vietnam veteran and they're racist because they said build the wall.
Yeah.
Yet all three of those facts were disconfirmed based on a long video that came out later.
Exactly. So my point, that's exactly what I was saying. So before in journalism, there used to be where you would get information, you would, get all sides of the story, then report it. Here it's just like being the first one to market. Like, everyone's just like, that's the story, we're running with it. And then you see all these retractions coming back because they don't care about getting the facts correct. They care about, first, let me just be the first one out there. Let me be the first one reporting. And then they look like an idiot. And then they do a little like, sorry, our information was wrong. Like 2 sentences in the bottom of like a long story. They'll retract it. So that's a perfect example. There's many other ones.
So
but
it seems like their incentives are misaligned. If they wanting to get there first to get the clicks or the ad views.
The mission, right? They want to paint, like, because those kids were in Trump hats, right? They want to paint them as racist to have their overlying message. Oh, Trump supporters are racist. Oh, they're deplorables. They're this.
Is there any policy fixes for this type of thing?
Yes, one policy fix would be there needs to be a digital Bill of Rights. So you see a lot of conservative and right-wing political pundits getting purged off things like Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Some of them being Alex Jones, Gavin McInnes, Milo Yiannopoulos, many others, Owen Benjamin. So there needs to be a
digital bill of rights.
Yeah, basically, because then it doesn't allow these companies to kind of control online free speech. As, oh, you're violating our community policies. We're just gonna ban you tomorrow. Boom. So
this Bill of Rights would set a criteria for online behavior?
It would just basically say, how your free speech is protected under the First Amendment.
That applies to social media services?
Yeah, it applies to digital context, it applies to digital messaging, something like that.
Like, if Twitter is now our new public square, free speach applies to Twitter?
Correct.
Okay.
So not just Twitter, all social media.
Anything that is sufficiently a public...
a public good.
Public square.
A public square, yeah, because it is the new public square, right? Most people have debates or conversations online now.
If these things significantly sway elections, then they should have free speech.
100%. And
coverage.
that's why they are getting banned, right? Because it's much easier in the 2020 election if you ban all the people that are have the opposite views of Twitter as an organization. Then like all the people that are on Twitter are not going to see counter arguments to and the way the algorithms work. You're just going to keep seeing what they kind of feed you, anyways.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Anything else about that, Luka?
No, that's pretty much it. I'm going to enjoy the sun.
Cool.
For the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Sure thing. Nice to
Thanks.
meet you.
Nice to meet you. We'll go on.
You too.